Welcome back to the program. So we know for a fact that Democrats not only stole the 2020 election, but they then installed a brain-dead puppet and pretended that he got more votes in every single urban city in America in blue states than the first black president. We know that's all bullshit, and we know that they lied. But the reason I'm pointing this out is because these are the type of people we're dealing with. These are not rational people. These are not people that care about one another, and they certainly don't care about the American people either. They are in it for one thing and one thing only: power, greed. That's it. Power and greed. That's all they care about. And they will kill, maim, rape, murder, steal to get it and keep it. And all you have to do is look at the open borders before President Trump came back into office. And that's why I say rape and murder is totally fine. It's collateral damage. That's all it is, as long as we can stay in power. Now, we know that these psychotic individuals are planning on going after President Trump. They are also planning on going after Pam Bondi, who's not even there anymore. They're going to go after Pete Hegseth. They're going to go after Marco Rubio. They're going to go after all of the people, Scott Bessent, all of them, Stephen Miller, anyone that worked for President Trump. They have already said, because they can't keep a secret, right? And they're kind of stupid. And they said, as soon as we get back in power, not only are we going after President Trump and J.D. Vance, but we're going to go after the entire cabinet. All of them. They're all going to jail. We're going to prosecute all of them. War crimes, this crimes, that crimes, bullshit, right? Okay, fair enough. So, President Trump has been telling people that not going to happen. Not going to happen. Why? Well, because President Trump is promising mass pardons to all of his staff before leaving office. Perhaps maybe that's why this cabinet and this administration has been relatively aggressive in a lot of different things that they're doing, because they know that President Trump has their back, and they also know that they're going to get pardoned on everything. And oh, by the way, what kind of pardon are they going to use? Anybody want to guess the word? It starts with a P. That's right, a preemptive pardon. Just like Biden did, or the Autopen did, to all those people. They preemptively pardoned Fauci and all the rest of them, and Schiff and all the rest. I had to do it this time. And so that's what they did. Well, hey, two can play at that game. Two can play at that game. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to make sure that my entire cabinet doesn't have to deal with you radical scumbags when I'm out of office in 2028. That's exactly what he's doing. In a recent meeting, the president said that he would pardon those within 200 feet of the Oval Office, saying people familiar with the remarks. President Trump has promised his top administration officials pardons before he leaves office. I'll pardon everyone who has come within 200 feet of the Oval Office, President Trump said in a recent meeting, according to people with knowledge of the comments. That radius appears to be expanding as the president repeats that line. Another person who met with President Trump earlier this year said that the president quipped about pardoning anyone who had come within 10 feet of him, as everyone laughed. In one conversation with some different advisors in the dining room next to the Oval Office last year, President Trump said he would host a news conference and announce mass pardons before he left office. Ooh, you want to make the left absolutely batshit infuriated? That's how you do it. Good job on that. Another person who met with President Trump earlier this year said President Trump quipped about pardoning anyone within 10 feet. In one conversation with advisors, he said that the people that weren't aware of specific pardons being offered to specific people for specific acts, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to pardon everyone, end quote. The unconditional power to pardon is one of the most sweeping powers offered to the presidency. This term, President Trump has wielded clemency far differently than any other president. Who's writing this, by the way? This is probably left-wing, I would assume. The Wall Street Journal, yeah, they're pretty left-wing, right? And then he talks about Trump aides have worried about losing control of the House of Representatives to Democrats in the November elections. Democrats have said that they might investigate the president for a range of issues, including his control over the Justice Department, alleged malfeasance at the Department of Homeland Security, and the president's pardons themselves. The president has discussed how to thwart those potential inquiries, advisors said. Yeah, let's get Republicans out. Let's get MAGA out to win the midterm so that they don't have the gavel, so we don't have to listen to their bullshit and their whining. That's what I would say. The Justice Department ultimately would make the decision on whether to charge someone for not adhering to congressional subpoenas. Several aides said President Trump raised the pardons so regularly that some of his advisors now laugh about it. The Wall Street Journal should learn to take a joke, however. The president's pardon power is absolute, Carolyn Leavitt, White House press secretary, said. Now, I'm bringing this up for another reason. I can tell you right now, and I'm 100% sure of it based on what I'm reading, that the Autopen scandal is dead. 100%. Why? Put two and two together, folks. It has to be dead. Because if it wasn't dead, and let's say that they were going after it, and let's say that they were challenging all these different pardons, what would happen? They'd go to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court would then take a look at preemptive pardoning. And there's a good chance the court might say it's unconstitutional. It's illegal. And guess what? Those people from the other administration would be held accountable. But it works two different ways. And it protects the people in this administration. So, in some ways it's great, but in some ways it's bad. Because the people that signed, that were not legitimately allowed to sign all of those Autopens, all those pardons, they're not going to be held accountable. And they can't be held accountable because now they're coming after us. So Washington has now turned into a tit for tat, which means, God forbid in the future, the next realm of psychotic leftists are going to do all kinds of crazy shit, and then they're going to do the same thing. They're going to preemptively pardon whatever it is. And that's a problem because it's now working in our favor, but it worked against us as well. So I don't know for sure. I don't have a crystal ball. I haven't talked to anyone, but I can just about assure you that they're not going to go after preemptive pardons. I said it months ago. All they had to do was what? Get 4 people to basically rule, 4 different doctors to rule that Biden was incapacitated. And then they take that, they take the doctors, they appeal it to the courts. Even if the lower courts or the appeals court says they don't want to take the case, you get an ex parte petition directly up to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court then says, are these preemptive pardons constitutional or unconstitutional? Now, Alan Dershowitz, who I talked to about this, text message back and forth, I asked him, and he said they are challengeable, and they are likely, he said, likely unconstitutional, but no one has brought it to the Supreme Court. Well, I'm here to tell you it's not going to be, especially not because of what they're planning on doing, coming after all of these Trump officials. So I don't know how you want to take that. Good, bad, indifferent, doesn't matter. Bottom line is Hegseth's not going to jail. Kash Patel's not going to jail. Bondi's not going to jail. Yeah, none of Vance, Trump, none of these people because of this preemptive pardon. So whatever this administration is doing right now, they're going to continue to do it. And at the very end, as President Trump said, he's going to just pardon them all preemptively. And there's nothing the left can do about it, just like there's nothing we could have done about it when they did it to us. So, wanted to point that out as well. Those are my thoughts. What are yours? Put them down in the comments below. We'll see you in the next one.